But one thing I also wanted to speak to you on is the 300,000 women that lost their jobs, right?
Yeah.
That is unfortunate, but nevertheless, there's 3,000 women that are missing. And I'm not saying that this is their intention, but when you start seeing the same number repeatedly, it gets harder to find those importance, right?
I'm
So
saying,
when you said
they probably didn't hear you. How many women are missing? Black women?
it's 300,000 women that are missing in the nation, and according to the statistical reports, one third of them are black. PBS put out a documentary on it, so you can actually look on the documentary. The name of the documentary is 300,000 women are missing in the nation, and nobody is listening. Right?
And hold up, and you're saying just talk nice and slow so everybody can hear you. So
Okay.
one third of the women that are missing in the United States are black women.
Yes, so that's correct.
And do you think it has anything to do with some of these meetup apps and all these others, especially with all these strangers in the country?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, yes, that's absolutely. And ironically, you say that, not putting any blame on any community, but the federal government actually did a lawsuit on a significant amount of companies for hiring H-1 visas over American citizens, right? So they got a list of the individuals who they pretend, and that tells me that they have, on assumption, of course, that they have a list of individuals, right, who they was already targeting and utilizing ICE. But back to those 300,000 women that are missing, right? Of course, we have in these major events like the World Cup is coming to the city of Atlanta in 2026. Uh, you can already imagine if the citizens are not aware of 300,000 women that are missing, they're not going to be aware of those dangers when the 2026 World Cup come in. You see where I'm going? So you have to be aware, like you were saying earlier, when you were saying go out and warn the citizens, you have to be aware of what's going on so you know how to protect yourself, you see? If you're not paying attention, if you're watching these rappers going into courts and you're not being brought up and listening to personnel like yourself, Elder, because you're absolutely right on just about everything that you say, all right? So if you're not paying attention to these things and not hearing it, then you're subject to be
I'm listening.
follow.
I'm listening.
You'll get caught up, right? In the economic war that you're saying, right? Uh, I mean, we're hiring those DEI hires, like you were saying.
To an automated. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Those DEI hires that you were saying, right? I mean, that sounded like a temporary position from the beginning, you see. But when they started going through and cutting individuals from those companies, those was like you were saying, those was holding positions. You never saw a CEO of a DEI company. You never seen the DEI company even come into existence. A company that specifically dealt with DEI, right? What you saw was companies picking up these positions, right, and creating them, and just like they create them, they can wipe it away. The federal government just wiped away $700 million from the nation's budget, right? And that's cutting a significant amount of jobs from from the intelligence community.
Hold
So
on,
that's
hold
even
on.
more jobs.
Hold on. Hey, Will, hold on, all right?
Go on, Elder.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
Right. So they just cut $700 million out of the budget. That's even more jobs that's cut, right? So when you cut all of these jobs significantly, you are creating scarcity. You're absolutely correct, right? Even though that's spoken of in the last days, biblical, but
So,
nevertheless, those
so here's
jobs
my
are.
question on that, though, just for context, to edify for the people,
Of
right?
course.
Being that you are in the political arena there, right?
Correct.
And what city and state?
The city of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay,
Right.
what answers are they giving that can relieve people, relieve all these people that are being let off, being fired with no end in sight? Like, what are they saying politically is the band-aid, or what are they putting in place to resolve, what's going on? Or are they saying nothing at all?
Well, Elder was truly going on, there's an organization called BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. These are the countries that we get majority of our imports from, right? A long time ago, Elder, when I was a kid and your generation was in political positions, those generations passed something called the NAFTA agreement. Both parties knew it was a bad idea. Nevertheless, what ended up happening was the significance of the prices. We gave foreign countries the ability to manipulate our prices on
Yeah,
imports.
but I don't think. Did you hear my question?
Right, I'm getting to it.
Oh,
So
okay.
what ended up happening is now all of these prices are going up by these countries, right? And the government is giving out ridiculous reasons, right? Like a bridge collapse or XYZ, right? But the truth is that the band-aid is they don't really even know because a long time ago they signed very, very bad contracts, right? So they don't even know. And that's why, God bless me, I end up looking at a resolution, and we was pushing a resolution here in the state of Georgia where we bring in $147 billion back. Now, if we're losing $107 billion, you follow, for many, 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 many years, we was being bled for a long, long time. And I'm pretty sure, Elder, with your wisdom, you remember how these people kept talking about these bad contracts. So the thing is, they're cutting jobs to save money to pay back other countries. You follow, and that's really
Yeah,
what's
but
going on.
usually when you're firing people and they're losing jobs, hands over fist, where there's no end in sight. Usually, there's some political conversation that's being had for the people that are losing these jobs, giving them some level of relief as far as letting them know this is what you can look forward to in the future based on all of these jobs being lost now. Is there anything
Right.
out there like that? Are they saying, are they giving them any short-term solutions?
That's God bless me. The only person thus far that came up with a short term solution is our office, which is 1252, which is to stop trading. Government, Elder, is just a
Okay, so
think
what is
tank,
what is that
right?
solution?
Government is just a think tank, right? So we just come up with ideas when there's a problem on the end, right? And our solution that we submitted, right, is to stop trading with those countries that are raising the prices significantly and start leaning more on our own resources by working with the school systems, right? So we'll go into the school systems and teach the kids aquaponics. You
I'm
follow?
saying, but if I lost my job, how are you teaching kids going to help me who I just lost my job? How does that
Right.
translate?
So watch this. This how that translate, right? This is exactly how it translate. Other and again, in your wisdom and working in corporate America, you can follow this business model, right? So what will end up happening is really the rise of the entrepreneur, because what end up happening, we end up bringing $147 billion back to the state. So now we're going into the schools and we're looking into aquaponics and hydroponics, and the kids start doing aquaponics and hydroponics, right? And at the same time, you're getting off the medications, you're taking them off Ritalin and all of those things because of the fact that the farming is going good. Now, the school systems get $1, right? Because the school systems isn't really into the system of selling groceries, right? But the school systems end up starting and going into business with the citizens, which brings down the prices of all groceries significantly, right? Now, what ended up happening was the state would end up start doing business and trading more on our domestic
Yeah,
farmers,
brother, this is
right?
all due respect though, because I gotta you gotta shorten this up for the phone calls.
Right, right. I'm trying. It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack in that resolution. You
Okay,
see,
so if somebody need to eat, all this gotta happen before people who just lost their job is able to have a solution.
the best. Okay, so the sum it all up, because again, we bring it back all industries, Elder. You see, so you bringing back. We're leaning more on domestic agriculture. We're also bringing back lithium. We bringing back all of those jobs that was sent, but they're bringing it back in we're bringing back all of those industries. As you see right now, a lot of
Okay,
those companies are coming up.
All right,
right?
brother. I'm gonna need you
So,
to hold tight for a second because I gotta read something.
okay. Oh, and last thing, can I say this one last thing before you read what you're going to read?
Hurry up.
Okay. Um, well, you was talking about those Walgreens and those pharmacies that was up on the corners, right? Now you see they're all closing at the current moment too, because Walgreens was sued. The federal government sued Walgreens. Kind of find out they were selling the citizens placebos. So when citizens was going to pick up their medication for their grandmother for their high blood pressure, they was getting bad medicine. So behind closed doors, while people are not paying attention, they got hit with the lawsuit, right? Where a lot of people, I don't know if they can still claim their money, but they can follow that lawsuit and see the deadline over. But that's why a lot of these pharmacy companies on these corners are closing right now. So if you look around, you'll see a lot of them closing. You didn't see them coming up, but you're watching them fall right now.
Well, thank you, brother, for your input. I appreciate it. All right. Let me put this out there. You can let yourself out, brother. Got other people in line. I'm gonna put this out
Okay.
there. All right.
Go for it.
Hold on, Will. Let me say this real quick. And see, all due respect for him, because we have brothers and there are a lot of people in political positions, right? Who are trying to do what they can to help our people. And all due respect, hey, if you have people in a position to help our people from any angle, that's a blessing in of itself. All right. But I have to read this, right? Because really, all these implementations politically, there is no time for it based on what's about to happen. By the time we wait for all these other things to happen, let me tell you, the mark of the beast and everything will be on the scene. Here's the reality of the matter. There will be no political fix. They are intentionally sucking all the finances out of the system intentionally to fast track the mark of the beast system so that now they can claim there's no resources and through that, no money in the treasury, so they must reset the world currency. Okay? That's why right now they just rolled out of nowhere. And it wasn't nobody doing anything to anybody in D.C. They're rolling out tanks. And now just having tanks on the street that nothing is happening there in D.C. is costing D.C., the United States, $1 million a day just to have military police and things right now. They're depleting all of the funds. So there will be no fix. They'll have politicians spinning their wheels until they'll have no more need for the politicians. They're going to throw them back to the community. How do I know this? The Lord spoke it. Okay? It's in the word where this is going. Let me show you. And then I'm going to go to the solution. Right? It says right here, for behold, 2 Ezra 16 and 68, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. That multitude are the Gentile nations that have rallied together, these idolaters they brought over, with Esau to come against us because of the awakening. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. And they shall take some of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. That's us putting our finances into their merchandise. We're really funding, I'm going to tell you folks, the Gentile nations who serve the lesser gods. And that emboldens them to have the finances to continue their war against us. That's why I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. Of course, they gave the money originally to the sisters because the sisters spend. And that keeps the economy going. So if there's a side of a court or whatever the case is, they're going to put the money into the person's hands who's going to actually have the money circulate in the economy. They don't care about men or women. Okay? So now, that's why I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. Okay, you're going to do nails here, even though, brothers are saying we don't really need that, but brothers out there saying no, but you're going to do it anyway, so yeah. At least make it where you're not giving the money to them. Make it where you can generate the finances amongst yourself if you're going to do it. Because the money we're giving to the other nations when it comes to the idolatry and all of that, they're using that in an engine to destroy us. And it says right here, and feed you being idle with things offered to idols. That's their businesses. That's why they'll come over here and get a grant. They can set up a restaurant and everything. But really, they have altars with a lot of their restaurants where they're sacrificing to the gods. They're praying to these gods against you. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. 70 AD all over again. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Like the brother mentioned about our sisters that are coming up missing, they don't even realize that they're being targeted. A lot of these perverts, these straight satanic deviants from other countries, and I'm talking about from the state of Israel, from the Middle Eastern countries, how they view our sisters from over there. You don't want to fall in the hands of these people. They'll get on an app. They'll meet you and all of that. But folks, they're not like any men, sisters, you've ever met. They don't know what it is to be under a society where they fear police. They're not built like that. They were raised someplace else. And you'll meet them in the app and thinking that it's all good and the things they'll do to you, your family, guess what? You'll come up missing. You'll come up missing because guess what? They're being told in their little circles that they can do whatever they want to do to our people here. And go back unscathed from their country as if they never existed. That's what you do when you let some people come in undocumented, where the Democrats give them an identity to utilize right next to where you live. So the Bible is telling you, understand we're in some different times. When they opened this thing back up during the coronavirus, this whole world, the whole system was changed. And what we've come accustomed to thinking America is and what the world is, it's entirely different than what we thought it is. Because with the new people, with a different culture, and guess what? They see sisters are without protection. And it says, and the guide of them, it says, let me go here. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Before that, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So the focus, they're paying these pagans, these idolaters, they're paying these deviants to come over here and to attack the weak of our people. For they shall waste and take away thy goods. Everything is drying up, finances and all of that, and cast them out of their houses. Now, if you have no money to be able to pay for anything, eventually that will lead to homelessness. What I'm reading is real-time prophecy. You know why? Because we didn't want to listen when the signs were there. When the signs were there and it seemed like everything would stay normal, there was no preparation. Then they can flip it. They can flip the switch and your whole life can change in one moment. And they showed us that during that so-called pandemic. Then shall they be known. Now, when everything is taken away from you, then it shall be known who are my chosen. Will you stand with the Most High through adversity and have him build you from nothing into who he's always seen you as? See? Are you willing to go through the lowest of lows to be built back into the image of God? That will be our test. And they shall be tried as gold in the fire. O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. It's a war. It's a war. And our sisters need to see this more so right now. What I'm saying is because they have swung the pendulum the other way. Because when men are attacked, men take what? Men take the offense. Now, when we didn't know that the war was against us, there was a level of naivety there. But when it came down to the courts, when it came down to all these other things that was going on with the apps and the social media, and now men started hearing people say things that we didn't know that they would say otherwise before the internet. Men started saying, well, hold up. We in a war. Huh? It's time to fight. So men changed their whole posture without saying anything and started doing what? Started walking around the traps. Both eyes open, understanding that this was a strategic war they did to us. It took us, it was a slow drip, but we started realizing the whole engagement. Even younger men are seeing what it is and asking serious questions so not to fall into some of the pitfalls and traps the men before them fell into. So now the enemy said, well, okay, the men have woke up. They're not falling for the traps like they used to. It's still going to be some stragglers out there that's going to fall to it. But now they switched the pendulum to the weaker vessel. They're coming after the women. See? When they know they're up against a frontal war and the men see them, Amalek, he began to attack who? He'll begin to attack the women and the children. He did that when we came out of Egypt. That's where his war is. So he's going to be picking off women, and they're going to be using the apps and the location finders on the phones to get sisters. I'm telling you right now. Make sure you have some type of protection on you, and make sure you have you have your head on a swivel, and if it be the Most High, a man to protect you. Because there will be no program that's going to come back, because they want to dry up everything to move to the mark of the beast system. That's it. And then they're going to say, well, hold up. You can keep your housing and everything else if you're willing to get chipped. That'll be the next step in this.
The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.